Good evening, friends. I hope you are keeping yourselves safe, and wishing you all the best. This video is dedicated to all those who have lost loved ones due to COVID-19. Here are some updates for America's border wall. These are video shots of the border wall construction, near Tucson, Arizona and El Paso, Texas. President Trump's wall is the most aggressive border construction project in U.S. history, and has not really slowed down. It has hit a bit of a hurdle, with the latest calculations for how much wall can be built with the $15 billion. Mr. Trump has won from Congress, or siphoned from other Pentagon accounts, works out to 731 miles, which would be more border fence than every previous president combined has built. But it's also 22 miles shorter than the Department of Homeland Security and the Army Corps of Engineers were projecting at the beginning of April. Officials said a certain pot of Defense Department money can't stretch as far as they originally thought. John B. Mennel, Assistant Chief at Customs and Border Protection Headquarters, said the earlier, larger assessment was made, based on rough order of magnitude estimates, for one $3.8 billion chunk of money, in the Defense Department's drug interdiction account, projected to cover 177 miles of wall in segments, from San Diego to Del Rio, Texas. Once specific projects were finalized, though, they had to recalculate how far the $3.8 billion would stretch. While much of the country has been shuttered by stay-at-home orders, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, wall planning and construction have continued uninterrupted. Since early February, a total of 51 miles have been built, 42 of them replacing outdated designs, and 9 miles in places where no fencing existed before. Only one of those new miles is up against the border. The other 8 are secondary fencing, set back from the primary barrier to create a corridor to nab illegal immigrants. When Mr. Trump took office, about 354 miles of border were protected by a pedestrian fence, and another 300 miles with vehicle barriers, which are easy to walk over, but can deter kamikaze drive-thrus, for a total of 654 miles. With the projects currently planned, that will rise to 945 miles. Of those, 731 will be upgraded or added through Mr. Trump's orders. The new wall design can reach 30 feet high, with 6-inch square steel bollards spaced 4 inches apart. That is enough to allow small wildlife, but not people, to squeeze through. Anti-climb plates are intended to deter attempts to go over the wall. The Border Patrol is in charge of selecting wall locations, and the Army Corps of Engineers is handling the contracts. Since taking office, Mr. Trump has won about $4.5 billion from Congress for wall funding, and he has siphoned about $600 million from a Treasury Department account and $10 billion from Pentagon accounts. Of that Defense Department money, $3.6 billion went into an emergency military construction account, and another $6.3 billion topped off a counter-narcotics fund that allows border barrier construction. It was that last pot of money that caused the 22-mile cut. Earlier this month, the Army Corps projected that 177 miles could be built with $3.8 billion. That worked out to about $21.5 million per mile. But after matching the money to specific projects, it now looks like it will cover only 155 miles, at $24.5 million per mile. Border officials have said from the beginning that they expect costs to fluctuate. In other news, a $569 million award to build 17.7 miles of fencing in San Diego, which works out to $32.1 million per mile, went to BFBC, a company run by a man who gives frequently to Republican campaigns. The Government Accountability Office is investigating that contract, according to the top Democrat on the Senate Armed Services Committee. The chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee has asked the Defense Department's Inspector General to investigate. Mr. Mennel said that contract was not part of the project, that was reduced by 22 miles. Anyways, thanks for watching and don't forget to visit our blog at theborderwall.net. And remember, peace through strength.